What's happening around the world and what's happening here at home. A very good evening to you and welcome to Weekend Primetime News. I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Before we get into your stories in detail, let's take a quick look at your headlines.
Reports of government attempting to declare health services an essential service. What's happening to the local government elections? Officials of the Anti-Corruption Committee Secretariat nervous as Prime Minister remains tight-lipped. Disciplinary action against clash at the Sri Jayawardenepura University. Who is behind the pollution of the Daduru Oya? Youngster Vanidu Hasaranga impresses with hat-trick on debut against Zimbabwe.
The Island newspaper reports today that the President and the government are to take a tough stance on striking doctors. The Island, quoting government sources, notes that declaring the health sector an essential service and confiscating property of striking medical officers is on the cards. It further notes that suggestions have been made to the government that the authorities withdraw the concessionary duty facility to import vehicles for government doctors who are also engaging in private practice. The Island further reports that GMOA members from the Western, Southern, Northwestern, North Central and the Northern provinces were unhappy with the current GMOA leadership and were in talks with Minister of Health Dr. Rajitha Senaratne to form a breakaway trade union. The Minister of Health has also received that Sri Lankan students spent Rs 132 billion annually to study medicine in foreign medical faculties. On our investigative journalism segment, Action TV tonight takes a look at the fate that has befallen on the officials of the Anti-Corruption Committee Secretariat.
Government officials serving at this building located behind the official residence of the Prime Minister, Temple Trees, remained still late yesterday, hoping that someone would come from the Prime Minister's office in order to move the equipment and documents contained at these premises. Officials remained at this building, which houses the Anti-Corruption Committee Secretariat, till 8:30 p.m. before closing down its doors and leaving. These officials, who were attached to various government departments and agencies, were assigned to serve in the Anti-Corruption Committee Secretariat in February 2015. The Anti-Corruption Committee Secretariat, which came into being after the January 8th revolution, was approved by the Constitutional Council as well as the Cabinet. The Secretariat, which was headed by the Prime Minister himself, has a subcommittee and a rapid response committee. There were numerous short-term and long-term goals assigned for the Secretariat as well. This cabinet paper put forward by the Prime Minister on the 29th of January 2015, calling for an institution to crack down on large-scale fraud and corruption during the previous administration, can be considered as the birth certificate of this fledgling Secretariat, which functioned in these premises for 28 months. Following the approval of the Cabinet on the same day, the Anti-Corruption Committee Secretariat functioned till last Friday based on extensions provided to its tenure. The last 6-month extension granted to the Anti-Corruption Committee Secretariat expired on Friday. Its secretary, who was aware of this, wrote to the Prime Minister's secretary a day before the tenure expired and asked him what the officials should do after the tenure expired. However, the secretary to the Prime Minister had not even acknowledged that he received such a letter. In line with the established conduct when closing down such an office, the director of the Secretariat wrote to the Secretary of the Prime Minister on Friday, calling on him to take custody of the Secretariat's documents and equipment. However, the Secretary to the Prime Minister has failed to respond to this as well. Although the Secretariat became something which the officials forgot after the end of the 100-day government, the officials involved never stopped working for the past 28 months. Its main role was to act as a facilitator for the Bribery Commission, the police and the FCID. Of the 450 complaints that it received, the Secretariat processed and produced comprehensive reports for 447 cases. These reports had been directed to an additional Solicitor General, as it was the only power vested with the Anti-Corruption Committee Secretariat. Based on these reports, the Attorney General is vested with the power of deciding on which department should conduct further investigations and whether charges should be filed or not. If the present government is truly committed to crack down on fraud and corruption and not use such a pretense to enact political revenge, then the Anti-Corruption Committee Secretariat was the body which was perfectly suited for this task. Should the government stance on the future of the Anti-Corruption Committee Secretariat be hidden from the people? Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, this is over to you.
Vice-Chancellor of the University of Sri Jayawardenepura, Professor Sampath Amaratunga, says that strict disciplinary actions will be taken against all students involved in the clash at the university premises.
A clash broke out last Friday between two groups of university students during a Pirith chanting ceremony at the campus. Two of our students who had organized the arrangements for the ceremony were assaulted at around 8:30 p.m. They were clad in t-shirts with their faces covered. They had used tube lights as well to assault these students.
We are a faculty which always try to do something different. There is a group in the science faculty who are trying to sabotage this. We are being harassed. The university was almost like a confined area on that day because even the police could not do anything within the premises.
Convening a media briefing today, the Inter-University Students' Federation of the University of Sri Jayawardenepura commented on the incident.
The Inter-University Students' Federation will never instigate a clash between students at universities. The clash at the science faculty of the Sri Jayawardenepura University the day before was between two groups of students of the science faculty itself. So neither of the group has any dealings with the Inter-University Students' Federation. This is an extremely barbaric act. This happened during a religious observance. The disciplinary committee will act on this on Monday. To my knowledge, all video footage, audio recordings and images will be presented to the disciplinary committee. So it is inevitable that disciplinary action will be taken against all those responsible for this incident. As a country, we cannot allow such violence to continuously take place like this. If future generations of the literate society behaves like this, then there will be no value for the literate in this country. Since of late, university politics has fallen to a bad place. Students rallying for a reasonable cause and fighting for something are things which have always been there, even when we were in university. We spearheaded such programs. But suppressing a student body's ideas, opinion and the right to organize is not very good. Education is the only thing that can be given to a poor child. It is these less fortunate students who are used for such struggles which are launched through universities. Parents must understand this. A majority in this society who have educated themselves through the free education system do not understand the value of free education. Maybe they do understand, but they are using that knowledge towards the destruction of this society.
Addressing an event in Anamadua yesterday, State Minister of Irrigation Palitha Rangabandara commented on the Uma Oya project. In 2001, our government got together with the Canadian International Development Agency and devised a plan for the Uma Oya project. According to this report, the total cost for the project was $160 million. The Mahinda Rajapaksa government got together with Iranian President Ahmadinejad and drew up a new plan which would cost $300 million. The irrigation minister was his elder brother Chamal Rajapaksa. The two brothers devised this plan which costs $140 million more. The secretary to the ministry, Gunavardhana, said that this crime would curse 7 generations of their families and resigned from his positions. Charita Herath on the 12th of April during the New Year holidays reopened the offices and gave the environmental report to move ahead with the project. Because of this heinous crime, the people of Bandaravela have been left destitute. You should understand that we should chase these people away. They have wasted away your money. The Sunday Times newspaper reports that the Government Information Department has halted the practice of releasing to the media the cabinet papers submitted by ministers after they are approved by the cabinet. The newspaper reports that the practice has been halted on a directive from the Director General of Government Information, Dr. Ranga Kalansurya.
Decisions of the cabinet of the week are normally announced by the cabinet spokesperson at the weekly cabinet press briefing. Along with that cabinet decision, we cannot release the cabinet proposal of the week because the proposals are subjected to amendment during the cabinet discussion. So if we release the cabinet proposal, that might give a wrong impression to the public. After verbal consultations with the secretary to the cabinet, we decided not to release the cabinet proposal to the media. It was a practice, it's not by law, but this should not be misunderstood along with the Right to Information Act. If anybody wants to get information from the cabinet meetings or cabinet proposals, that person can directly write to the cabinet office and file an RTI application.
Speaking to News First, Cabinet Secretary Sumit Abhirsinghe noted that once the cabinet paper is submitted to the Cabinet of Ministers, amendments to such paper could take up to 2 weeks, and as such, issuing a cabinet paper on the same day as it is submitted to the cabinet could provide wrong information. Abhirsinghe added that he pointed this out to the Director General of Government Information, Dr. Rangakalan Surya, and further noted that the finalized version of any cabinet paper could be obtained through the relevant ministry.
In short, my answer is it's wrong. People have an inalienable right to know what their cabinet of ministers or elected representatives are doing, talking and deciding. Obstructing that freedom is anti-democratic. That is one thing. On the other hand, this government came into power rightly criticizing the previous administration and promising the people to widen their freedom of expression and right to information. Further, this very government, which adopted a resolution in Parliament, really an act of Parliament, assuring right to information, the withholding such information is, again, anti-democratic and denying a fundamental right to the people.
The Campaign for a Free and Fair Election says it denounces the actions of the government which cause further delays to the local government elections.
The gazette regarding the election for local government bodies has been postponed for a further 3 months through an extraordinary gazette notification. The issuing of the gazette which announces the local government election has been postponed till the 1st of October. A gazette notification was issued today which postpones the election of local government bodies till the 1st of October this year. This has been done in a backdrop where the Elections Commission is due to release the gazette for the Eastern, Sabaragamuwa, North Central Provincial Councils on the 2nd of October. According to the Provincial Council law, there is no way to delay the Provincial Council polls. By delaying the local government election, it clearly shows the intention and efforts of this group to withdraw the elections map. According to the current law and the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, a presidential election should definitely be held in November 2019. When inquired, Additional Elections Commissioner M.M. Mohammed noted that they are currently analysing the situation after the release of the extraordinary gazette notification today. He refused to comment on the matter till the Commission is able to fully analyse the situation. Legally, we have to have an exact date mentioned in the Gazette and we have given the 1st of October as that day. If the Elections Commission calls for an election on an earlier day, we will revise the Gazette to reflect the relevant day. This is being done in accordance with the law and is not an attempt to fold up the elections map. In response to CAFE, I need to state that we have fulfilled the criteria required to hold an election. What CAFE has to do is to put pressure on the Parliament to approve these amendments that have been made. The Elections Commissioner has said that he needs 55 days to hold the election. We are working in accordance with the law.
Several programs to educate the general public on how to eradicate the dengue menace got underway in the island today.
The dengue eradication programs in Kottava and Homagama took place with the participation of the Kottava Police, Tri-Forces, Maharagama Divisional Secretariat and the National Dengue Control Unit. Chaturika Sirisena was also present at this event. In line with the clean-up program, the general public were further educated through the distribution of handbills. I believe that with each day that passes, reckless actions by our adults are affecting the youth of the country. Therefore, I believe that as a people of Sri Lanka, it is our duty to protect the future of Sri Lanka by keeping our environment clean. I wish to thank and praise the efforts by the Tri-Forces, officials of the Civil Security Department, Environmental Police and doctors. I once again request you to join hands to curb the spread of dengue and protect our children.
Meanwhile, the Sirasa TV network also took part in these several areas to eradicate the dengue menace.
The program took place in Gampaha, Ganiyamulla and in Mathara. The Presidential Task Force on Drug Prevention, public health inspectors and area residents participated at this event.
Auxiliary Bishop of Colombo, Reverend Maxwell Silva, visited the Dalatura area in Wattala today to observe how garbage from Colombo is being disposed in the area.
The area residents in Dalatura, Wattala were protesting for several days against the decision to dispose garbage from Colombo in the area. The Auxiliary Bishop of Colombo visited the area to engage in discussions with the area residents and inquire into the situation. Subsequently, leader of the Janasetha Peramuna, Venerable Bathramulle Seelaratana Thera, also visited the location.
I was there when garbage was piling up in Kolonava, and I raised my concerns with the government and demanded houses for those people, as everyone knew that this action would put their lives at risk. You don't see a pile of garbage here, for the fumes will affect the educational activities of the students. Dear ministers, MPs, Prime Minister and President, this is enough.
The disposal of clinical waste on the banks of the Kolamuna Oya in Bingiria by a certain group has severely polluted the waterways in the area.
The Kolamuna Oya is a main tributary which nourishes the Dadru Oya. Last night, a certain group had dumped around 20 boxes of syringes and blood samples on the banks of the river. The Kolamuna Oya is overflowing. The needles of the syringes are flowing into the paddy fields, which make it impossible for a farmer to get into the fields. People bathe in this river, but now they can't.
We complained about the massive environmental harm to the Bingiria police. We made a request to investigate this matter.
The Bingiria police has launched investigations into the incident.
The 32nd model village under the Samata Sevana Yalipibidenu Dagam program was declared open in Anuradhapura today under the auspices of Minister Sajith Premadasa.
The model village, which was constructed in Palagala, Palbadiava, is valued at 2.8 million rupees.
Dear friends, our goal is to make Sri Lanka great. I do not obtain vehicles from the government. I do not have official residencies. I do not obtain fuel allowances. I do not take allowances for phone bills or other expenses. All allowances that I am privy for are placed under the housing funds for these projects, which I use to construct houses for the people. The 6th World Construction Symposium and the Green Awards Ceremony 2017 was held in Colombo yesterday.
The event was organized by the Ceylon Institute of Builders.
If you analyze the statistics of the latest report of the central bank, then you find this is the key area, the construction field in the service sector, that we have improved a lot compared to agriculture and the industries. Now, we are talking about the green construction, smart cities, and we are talking about green economy. We have created a new ministry to review and evaluate the progress to the objectives that we should achieve by 2030.
Former Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Nirupam Sen, has passed away in New Delhi after suffering from a brief illness.
Nirupam Sen served as the High Commissioner to Sri Lanka from 2002 to 2004. After joining India's diplomatic service in 1969, Sen held several posts both at home and several world capitals. Before serving in Sri Lanka, he headed Indian missions in Sofia and Oslo in Bulgaria and Norway. His last posting prior to retirement was as permanent representative of India to the United Nations. After retirement, he was appointed as special senior advisor to the President of the UN General Assembly.
During the post-match briefing, Zimbabwean skipper Graham Creamer commented on Sri Lanka's spinners Lakshan Sandakan and Wanidu Hasaranga.
Yeah, guys didn't actually pick him that well. You know, he's a lot different to what we used to. We haven't faced a lot of him. So, you know, it was a bit of a mystery to us. And guys, you know, I mean, they took enough runs off him, but he just bowled wicket-taking balls, and we gave him a few soft wickets, I suppose, in that middle period. So you just need to watch out for that in the next game. Yeah, to get a hat-trick on debut, that's something special, I suppose. He looked a little bit nervous when he started, which is understandable, but, credit to him. I mean, he stuck at it, and the skipper having faith in him, to keep him on, and then to clean up the back end of the innings was excellent from him.
Yeah, I played a ODI game after 2-3 months back. When you are playing a ODI game after a long time, you need confidence. So coaches, supporting staff, and captain, senior players, all the players gave me a lot of confidence to play. So we had a small plan with the batsmen because they played really well the first ODI against us. So I think we execute our plan in the middle. So I think I bowled much better.
And with that, we wrap up weekend primetime news. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Do take care and good night.